Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing with you what we made on YouTube this month, plus we are also sharing our budget. A lot of people requested that we put the two together, so you'll kind of get all that information in one here on this video today. And also, we're kind of shocked, very shocked at what happened on YouTube this month. Just really humbled and just, yeah, I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a wild video, so let's jump in because it was a very interesting month here. We're in Vietnam, and the budgeting of that went really in an interesting way also. So we hope this video is an encouragement to you. You know, there's a lot of people who watch the channel who maybe feel like it's tough. They may not have enough to have an amazing retirement. We hope this video gives you that encouragement that no matter where you're at, this can still be a possibility for you. So we're also going to give you kind of the keys to what has been the key to getting this to happen at the end of the video, so stick around for that. But we spent the whole month in Vietnam in one city. We didn't travel around at all. We got here at the end of January, and we're not leaving for a few more days in March. So that really restricted our costs. But we're at the Crowne Plaza Vinh Yên City Center in Vietnam, and we spent $67 a night. That included club access for us because we didn't have club access before we got here. That is one of the reasons we are here. We're here for 40 nights because we're going to be earning club access through that 40-night stay. And we bought this room on the 11/11 Singles Day sale, so we got a really good deal on it. The total was $1,943, which is 67 times 29. Got that extra day. But it didn't really work out to being that much because we got also 50,000 points earned through paying for the room with your IHG credit card.
Exactly.
Which was another story of a little trouble we had with that. We'll get into that in a minute. But we did pay for that. We got 50,000 points for that, which was good for $250 worth of points. So kind of the grand total for the hotel was $1,693.
Yes, so that's incredible to pay that little for our housing, and then we didn't really need any transportation, and for our food. So for the food, let's talk a little bit about that. We only ate basically 2 meals outside of the hotel, because they're providing us, since we have lounge access, they're providing us basically with almost all of our meals essentially. And then we ordered room service, which was about $100 we spent on that. Plus we did have our Valentine's Day dinner at the restaurant here at the hotel. And that was $50, is that right? Yes.
$40.
$40. And then IHG Rewards members get 20% off all food. So we spent about $150 total. Then we got $80 in food credits for our Milestones rewards at 20 and 30 nights. So actually the total spent for the month is all the way down to only $70 US.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount for the food. We thought it was going to be way more than that because we thought we were going to be eating out in town a ton. Just didn't end up happening. There was a nice ramen shop. We went there a couple times, but the food here was so much better than we thought, right?
It was, and what's interesting is we had a lot of Vietnamese food, and we also had some Western food, but really most of the food we've had and that they've served us up in the lounge has been Vietnamese food. The little bit of not Vietnamese food that we've had has been just like the room service, which is pizza, hamburgers, and like a club sandwich are the few things that we've gotten from room service. We did order some Vietnamese food also from the room service menu, but those were the 3 things we ordered that were not Vietnamese. Otherwise, we basically just had Vietnamese food the whole month outside of breakfast. At breakfast, you have your choice of Eastern and Western. You can choose because it's a buffet style, so you can have pho and scrambled eggs if you want. So you can just kind of mix it up, and I sometimes do mix it up with both.
Yeah, I stick to my traditional breakfast. But so for groceries and snacks, there is a grocery store right next door to the hotel. It's called Co-op. Went over there. I think we spent about $120 on groceries and snacks because we didn't need to buy any drinks. those are provided in the lounge. We just, if you want some chips or we got some dried fruit and some other stuff. A little bit of
dried fruits, nuts, a few things like that, just kind of snacky, proteiny things.
So that was basically $120, and then the rest of our income here, transportation has been zero. We have not left the hotel walking distance for the entire month because we've just been here kind of relaxing and chilling. And then our entertainment and phones, same as this is every month. Nothing new here. Cell phone, $26. Didn't go to any movies. Streaming apps and online games never change, as do our subscriptions and our software. Health insurance, again, $241. We do have videos on that. I'll link it below if you have questions about that. Didn't need to buy a Visa this month. And then personal care, we didn't do anything medically, hair, spa, nails. We didn't go, and we didn't buy any clothes. So it was pretty empty month as far as expenses.
A lot of zeros. It was so surprising how little we ended up spending. We weren't even really trying to spend that little. It just ended up that way. They just take such good care of us here at the hotel. I mean, we have the gym right here on the property, and it's actually the gym for the city because the people who live here can also get memberships to the gym here in the building. So we have that, the pool, everything's kind of built into, this hotel. So it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I know people like that watch this and it's their first time seeing what we're doing. They think, well, you didn't do anything this month. And that's right, we didn't do anything this month. But you have to remember, we've been on the road now for 6 years, and we've done a lot of the things we wanted to do. And it's kind of like if you eat ice cream every meal of the week, you would eventually get sick of it. So when you're on the road full time, if you're going to be doing this, don't plan out every single month with activity after activity after activity. You still have to do things like get your taxes prepared and do all that. So we do that this month, and it was a good month just for us to rest, recuperate, kind of focus on some things we wanted to do, read some books, watch some shows. Next month, we're going to be going back to the grind. We're going to Halong Bay, we're going to Hanoi, flying to Tokyo, we're flying to, all this stuff. So you do have to kind of mix it up and give yourself a break, or you're going to get burnt out.
Yeah, it is nice when we do build in these breaks because we kind of are like, okay, let's just kind of chill out and, you don't feel bad. I mean, we purposely picked this location because there wasn't going to be a ton of things to do, so we wouldn't be tempted to go do a bunch of activities. This way, we would, kind of be forced into, of sorts, to doing things like just relaxing, extra time working out if we wanted that, extra time reading books, and like you said, catching up on some shows and movies that we had missed out on.
So our total projected cost was $29.90. That's what we thought it was going to cost. It actually costed $22.60 because the food was just so much cheaper. That was basically where the projection was wrong. We thought we were going to spend way more.
Yeah.
There weren't even delivery apps in the city. So we thought we'd spend $300 on delivery food. Couldn't even do it. So it didn't end up being a problem because the hotel room service was so cheap and so good that we didn't need to partake of that in any way. So that's kind of what we spent, $2,200. Yeah, you could spend less than that in Vietnam, and we have spent less than that in Vietnam. But the key thing with this one was we earned our lounge access by being here for 40 nights. And later in the year, we're going to Japan. We're going to Taipei. We're going to be in San Francisco.
In Manila.
Seattle. And we're going to get lounge access now for the rest of this year and all of next year. So that's going to be at IHG. So that's amazing. So overall, pretty happy with how much we spent. A little less than we even thought.
Yeah. Once we started crunching the numbers, we were like, oh, wait a minute. We didn't really spend that much. So that was actually really good.
So now we're going to jump into income. And this is the part that has really kind of shook us, kind of shocked us. And we just were taken aback. There was a couple days we really had a hard time even processing what was happening. And that does happen a lot with YouTube, where you're just like, I can't believe this.
I don't know what's happening.
If you've been following this channel, you know this channel is 10 months old. and this will be the 85th video that we've published. So it takes us about an hour per video to make these. So we've worked on this channel for about 85 hours roughly total. And this month, shockingly, our YouTube income on just this channel was $3,314.73.
I mean, when the numbers were coming in like each day, we were like, are you sure that's like this month? And you know, the funny thing is we didn't mention is that February is usually a month where you know, the money goes down. Traditionally, most people don't do that great in January. We usually have a pretty good month in January, which we talked about in our video last month. And February, always for us, except for this year, has been a challenging month also. It's always gone down in February. So this was not just unexpected, it just really kind of blew us away. Not just the money, but, you know, subscribers going up, like it just everything.
Yeah, because February it's obviously the shortest month, so you get less income. But also the ad rates are the lowest of the year. So there's kind of a double whammy there. February is almost always your worst month. And so we'll see. We'll see where this goes from there. But kind of we wanted to share like what happened on the other channels too, to kind of give you the total picture of it. So on our cruise channel, it also did really well for February. That one made $4,530.80. And our travel channel made $10,889.25 for a grand YouTube total of $18,734.81.
Like, we need a moment to just kind of take that in. Every time we've talked about that in the last few days, we've just kind of still been like, whoa, this is absolutely amazing. And we're just grateful that, you know, it's worked out that way for February, which is, again, not generally a great month.
Yeah, it's usually not. So then there's also, and we're gonna put we put the screenshots of these up on the screen. It only shows you the last 28 days, and February had 29 days, so it'll show you on the screen a little differently than what I've said, but that's what it was. And then the YouTube related income, which is the referrals we get from points and affiliate programs, that was another $4,000. So that kind of made the YouTube-ish money $22,734.81.
Yeah, and that's actually something we'll be adding on to the course, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah, so we need to talk about this for a moment because we get tons of questions about YouTube, and this is quite literally the best opportunity of our lifetime. It is life-changing for many, many, many people. You can see from those numbers. When we started this journey, we had it planned out to where we didn't think YouTube would be a thing, like even factor into our journey. So we kind of had this planned out to where, oh, we can live on $2,500 and we can bring in $3,000 with what we had going on. Mm-hmm. But now everything has just been turned on its head because it's been so shocking. We still are in that live on $2,500, but now we're bringing in $22,000. And so it's just changed the whole shape of the rest of our life. And so this is where we want to talk about that, because for a lot of people, this could be a game-changing opportunity, and we want you to know how great of an opportunity it is and just how accessible it is for the average person.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people I think this helps to show people what you can actually do. It's really hard to fully grasp for the age range too, how well you can do.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big deal too, because oftentimes you see numbers from like younger people and you're thinking, well, they're 30, they're 20, they can do that, and they can, post videos about all these different things. But it just has been really interesting in our age range to, been able to grow it and to be this successful with it.
Yeah, the over 40 YouTubers make way more money than the under 40 YouTubers, and that's what people don't know. There's a lot of reasons for that we won't get into today, but that is just the case. And we get a lot of comments on what percentage of people have the type of success that we've had. And that's a really super interesting question. And now we're going to give you that key to YouTube success because it's all tied into that. So we got a comment about 2 weeks ago, and it was an interesting comment. I read it a couple times because they basically were kind of trying to say that, you know, there's thousands of people just like us who are just as talented, just as charismatic, just as good as us, but they don't make it on YouTube. And so they were kind of trying to insinuate that we just got lucky. And you could take it that way, but that's not really what it is. But there was a lot of truth in their comment. The truth of the comment is there are thousands of people that try, that are just as talented, probably more talented than us, because we're just normal people sitting here doing this, but they don't make it. So why don't they make it? And the advantage that we have is that we've stuck it out, and we have 6 channels worth of data that shows us what will work and what will not work. And that is the secret weapon to giving us the confidence, so that when it looks like it's not working, we actually know if it's working or not. And it's always going to look like it's not working at the beginning. Now, right off the bat, 90% of the people, of those thousands of people that start a YouTube channel, pick the wrong subject matter or the wrong mix of subject matter, and their channel is just not going to work from the get-go. No matter what they do, they're not going to make it, right?
Yeah, and I think that, you know, that is where so many of those people end up. They get discouraged instantly from the lack of reception of what they're putting out there, and, you know, it really kind of cuts them off.
Yeah, now we're going to throw a graph up here, and this graph is basically what's happened for every single one of our 6 YouTube channels. You can see that at the very beginning, for about the first 6 months, the views are bleak. Like, it's looking like this is a terrible idea.
Feels like crickets.
You're wasting your time. It's like, okay, well, I watched it. I know my mom watched it. That's 2 views. Did you watch it? I got 3.
That's 3 views.
There's 5 views now. So 2 real people watched it. That's what it's like those first weeks. Mm-hmm. And so you can see the difference is, YouTube success rarely happens in the first 3 to 6 months. It almost always happens like they're testing you. Like, okay, we're going to see what happens. Are they going to stick with this? Are they going to keep going? And then eventually they just say, all right, here it is. Boom, there's your views. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, this makes all the sense in the world, because it's a business. And they've got creators who are bringing in money, who are giving them views and bringing in advertiser dollars. So think of it, if you owned a business and you had a superstar employee and a new kid walked in the door and said, hey, I wanna work for this company, and you go to your superstar employee and you say, you know what, there's this new kid, I gotta cut your hours in half so I can give him half of your hours. You would never do that. You would hire the new kid, give him a few hours, test it out, see how he does. But on YouTube, we want to throw our first video up there and have Google just give us all the benefits right away. And it's just not how it works. It's going to take that 6 months of a break-in period.
Yeah, and the thing is that YouTube does know that this is what happens. People get on there, they put a couple of videos, and then they don't get views, and then they quit. Or they get up there, they work it for a month, and then they quit. YouTube knows what that pattern is, and that's the whole point of it, is they hold that back. You know, like you said, they're not going to cut the advertising from a bigger creator to give them the same attention because they're a new creator and they've been consistent for 2 weeks. It's like, well, that's not how it works, you know.
Yeah, so the only things you really need to be successful on YouTube is to start with the right subject matter, which is 90% of people don't. Not give up and be willing to improve. The problem is that of the people that do start with the right subject matter, if you were lucky enough to be in the 10% that picked the right subject matter, around the 3 to 6 month mark, it would look like it's not working, and 90% of those people give up because of that. So that's then 90, almost everybody has given up. So that's why there are thousands of people that are just as talented as us, that probably are better than us that don't make it. It's because they didn't know if they were on the right track. And if you don't know if you're on the right track, it's almost impossible to stick with it for the 9 months that it takes to really break through. So how do you know if it's your first time making a channel if your subject matter is right? You don't.
You don't know. That's the thing.
And that's where our course comes in that we've made. And that's why the very first chapter is all about picking the right subject matter. Because if you can avoid that pitfall, you're already ahead of 90% of the people.
Exactly. I think, I mean, we know that that is the main thing, is what the subject matter is really what's going to make or break it. And like you said, you have to be open to learning from the analytics. You have to be open to making changes, and you have to be willing to stay consistent. Those are the things that are really going to, kind of push you over the edge and help you be successful.
Yeah, but if you do those things, this is the kind of opportunity that could change your life a year from now even. I mean, like that's what we set out to find out when we started this channel, was would we be able to do something that was life-changing for us, in how long would it take? And it took a lot less time than we thought it was going to.
Yeah, it went. It definitely each time, and we employ these things that we do in our course. Every time we start a new channel, and we use that, and we do that, everything that we talk about, it's a huge difference. And this particular channel is basically the shining example of doing that, because we said, look, let's commit ourselves, we're going to do all of these things. We put the course together and then just kind of launch the two babies out there to go. And this channel has definitely been amazing, and we've just been so excited at what has happened.
Yeah, and that's why we started giving updates on this channel from the very beginning, from the very first month. You can see 6 months ago we made $50 on this channel, because everybody goes through that struggle no matter what. Your first month, your first monetized month, you're only gonna make $50. But it's like, so a lot of people get to that like, oh man, I did all this work for $50. No, it gets better. It's gonna get better if
It
you're
will
doing,
not stay like that forever.
if you're doing the right things. And if it's not getting better, there's probably a few things that you need to tweak to make that be better. But this is just something that, that we think people in our age range, if you're watching this, maybe you're in our age range, we all have something to offer. And you don't have to be this super flashy, super dynamic person. We don't get on here and try to, do all that. There's a lot of people who are a lot better with graphics and just all
editing,
that kind of stuff.
all that kind of stuff.
But you can be successful just sharing the knowledge that you've learned over your lifetime. And pretty much everyone has something that they could share.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's always something, interesting or helpful that people can share through YouTube. And again, a lot of people still say like, oh, it's YouTube is loaded with creators. They don't need more people to talk about this, particular subject. It's like, yes, they actually do. It's shocking to me. Just in the last few weeks, we continue to discover new channels about different themes and just hobbies and stuff that we're interested in. I was like, oh, I didn't know they made this channel about this. Just different things like that. You continue to discover creators on there. There's plenty of space. And the shocking thing is that although YouTube feels like it's been around for a long time, it's still in its beginning stages.
So we just think this is something that if you're interested, we do have a link to the course in the description. You can check that out, but don't overlook this. If you're someone that's, a lot of people have all the money they need for retirement, and that's amazing if you do. We did not have, we had enough to do something, but we didn't have everything we wanted. And that's the other thing, is sometimes there's things that you want to do, and maybe you want to earn a little bit extra more money to do a few special things. So that's another reason to be interested in that. So we wanted to give a little bit of a idea of what's coming up in March. We are leaving Vinyan. We are leaving with our 40-day our club lounge
40-day
access.
stay.
We're going to Halong Bay next, and then we're going to go to Hanoi. We've got some nice hotels there. We've gotten with IHG points. Then we're flying to Tokyo. We made a little switch. We're going to be staying in Tokyo first. Maybe get to see some sakura there.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're going to be going to a smaller town in Japan, and we're going to be working on our Hyatt globalist status because we've made a pretty big dent in IHG. Now we're going to work on Hyatt in Japan.
Yes, because if you recall, our goal is to try to get the highest level of status on 4 different brands that we're working towards. So we already have it on 1, so we're working on the other 3, and we'll see how we fare at the end of the year, because we are going to get a lot of really good perks from, you know, basically spending most of our year in hotels, which is going to be really nice. And speaking of which, we did say earlier about my IHG card.
Yeah.
So what happened, and this is why we talk about this when we talk about credit cards, why you should have more than one. My IHG card was hacked online. Oddly enough, they purchased a bunch of travel stuff, but I knew that it was not me. So, and IHG or Chase knew it was not me. So Chase sent me, you know, fraud alert. I looked at it. I was like, I didn't buy all this stuff. You know, canceled that. So now I'm like here. I want to earn my points for being here by using my card to pay for it. And I was really bummed that I was not going to have my card to get those extra points. But Chase was absolutely amazing. I told them, look, I won't be back to the U.S. for a few more months, and I really need this card. And they said, no problem. We'll send it to you in Vietnam. I'm like, I'm not in a big city. No problem. We'll send it to you. They put the address in. She Googled it because she wanted to make sure, the girl that I was talking to on the phone Googled it. She wanted to make sure that she had the address correct. And then she put my name on the package and my room number. And sure enough, about, 6 days later or so, the card arrived. They call us from the front desk. They said, we have a package for you down here. I had given them the heads up that I might be getting a package. I wasn't really sure it was going to make it out here. But sure enough, I got down there and there's this envelope that has been through a lot, it looked like. It was soaking wet. I think a person on like a motorbike had brought it to the hotel. I don't know how the whole thing of how I got here, but it got here and I was so thankful, and now I have my card back.
Yeah, so we were able to get all the points we needed, because if we hadn't been able to pay with the IHG, we would have got a lot less than the 50,000 points that we got. So
yeah.
You won't always be, though, in a place where you can get a card mailed to you, so it is really, for that reason, a better idea. And we do carry several extras for that reason, but that one we were really bummed because it was the one card we needed in the one place we needed it. And that was the one that got the
Yeah, thankfully, we've been paying by the week instead of paying all at once, and the front desk said, oh, no problem, you can just pay when the card gets here. I was like, I hope it gets here.
Yeah. So, that's it for February. We're moving on to March. Hope this video was helpful for you. I hope it's encouraging to you because, no matter the situation, this is a lifestyle. Whether you're just trying to look into living on less than $3,000 a month, you can do that. If you're trying to make a little extra money, you can do that. Whatever you are looking to do, hopefully this encourages you that you can get that done.
Yeah, guys, leave us your questions down in the comments. I know you've probably got a whole list of them. Leave those down in the comments section. If you enjoyed this, give us a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time.